I wrote a book, and why you should too. While I had my devotional time on the floor of my closet, I was overcome with a title, The Bee Who Believed She Was Broken. I felt led to write a story. Once I had written it, I wasn't exactly sure why. I asked the Lord what He wanted me to do with it. In the middle of the night, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I sat up, and very clearly, I felt the Lord say, "You need to turn this into a children's book." With absolutely no idea how to go about that, I laid back down and went to sleep. So I researched for about 3 months, and I am currently in contract with a publisher. In order to accomplish this, there are some fees required. I've been a little hesitant to share this because it's something I've never done before, and it involves me requesting donations and shares of the video of the Give Send Go fundraising account. And so I do want to personally ask you if you could please share this video, and if you could please donate. Any donation is appreciated. Every dollar will go toward the funding of this book. If you feel led to pray over this, your prayers are the most precious gift that you can provide. The reason this is so important is because we are up against quite a challenge right now. Let me explain what I mean. How many of you have heard of the company Scholastic? Founded in 1920 by Maurice Robinson. When he passed away, and his son, Richard Robinson, took over the company, and he acted as Scholastic CEO until 2021 when he suddenly died. Scholastic is the world's largest publisher and distributor of children's books. They are a $1.7 billion company, and they are in over 100,000 schools across this nation. Now, in 2021, when the CEO that I had mentioned earlier, when he had passed away, he left Scholastic and its succession plan to one of his co-workers at Scholastic. Her name was Lowell Lachise. A lot of the changes that Scholastic has been making over the last few years all began right after he passed in 2021. When I volunteered at my children's Scholastic book fair back in 2021. I had some downtime in between classes, and I started looking at the books. There were 2 books that really caught my attention. There was one book that seemed to really press a division between races, and there was another book that was the most beautiful, colorful book. It was stationed right up towards the front of the register. I read the back of the book, the summary, and the summary was, this girl goes through hard times, and she finds the stars, and she finds these spells, witchcraft, right? And she's able to begin controlling her life and get back on track, and everything begins to go good for her. Now, I was at an elementary school. We are talking kindergarten through 4th grade. So kindergarten through 4th grade, were being fed these sorts of books. In 2022, there was a book published called Welcome to St. Hell. This book by Scholastic glamorized gender transitioning to 12-year-olds. Let me show you a page of this book. This is not for children, so if you have children present, I would encourage you not to show them this part of the video. All right, so other titles to look out for by Scholastic are Stars in Their Eyes, Rick, Melissa and George, Julian is a Mermaid. Julian is a Mermaid is for kindergartners and up. That begins at age 5. This book is a grandmother who encourages her grandson to participate in drag. So there you have that. Most of these books promote at least one of the following messages: underage drinking, instructions on how to have intimate relations as a transgender, scars from top surgery, breast removal due to gender transitioning, and so much more. I wanted to also share Scholastic's senior editor. Her name is Emily Saif. She put out a tweet back in 2022, and she states, "I'll mention now that my colleagues and I absolutely do want your young adult books with or about abortions. There aren't enough of them, and these stories need to be told and normalized. And that's not going to change." So she was doing a public call to writers, to authors, to submit books to them on the normalization of abortion to our children. So unfortunately, we've entered into a day and age where we can no longer sit silent. We can no longer kind of sit on that fence. We must make a decision, because if we don't, companies, multi-billion-dollar companies like Scholastic, coming and aiming their material directly at your child, will win the war. So what do we do? The Lord is calling not only me, but is calling you too. Have you ever had a passion to write a children's book? What is it that God has called you to do? He is calling us to rise. He is calling us to action, to write children's books that contain the Word of God. We may be small against a $1.7 billion company such as Scholastic, but can you imagine if we all united as one? Like David, we can defeat the giant in Scholastic, a company that seeks to slip in lies to our children from the very beginning of their lives. At age 5, they are wanting to distribute material that does not align with biblical values. Just as they're learning their ABCs, they're being indoctrinated to hate. They're being told that they can be a boy or a girl or a cat. They're being told that there is no truth except for the truth in which they determine to be true. If you would like to fight this with me, I encourage you to sit down, to pray, to ask the Lord to lead you and guide you and see what He has for your life. Maybe He's called you to write a children's book too. If He has, I'll share everything that I've learned along my journey with you. I want to leave you with the verse that I believe is the verse of our century. Esther 4:14. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. If you have the calling and the desire to write, if you love the Lord Jesus Christ with all of your heart, and you feel that you can make an impact, just want to encourage you to step forward in faith and to seek the Lord along the way, and He will guide you, because we have to fight Scholastic by putting more wholesome, biblically true books out into the environment for our children to have. There is a new company that just started. They're called Skytree Book Fairs. And right now they have been in 700 schools across the nation, and they vet each and every one of their books before putting it on the shelf for dark magic, for sexually explicit material, pornography, anything that is a mature, that is a immoral or inappropriate theme, they vet out. In fact, they do not provide a single book published or distributed by Scholastic. So I would encourage you to go to your principal of your school, whether it's private or public, and I would encourage you to promote Skytree Book Fairs. Celebrity actor Kirk Cameron, I'm sure you guys all know him. He is a huge advocate and supporter of Skytree Book Fairs. They do have a website, skytreebookfairs.org. It's a wonderful company, and I just really hope that schools, both public and private, begin to transition to Skytree. I would like to leave you with the video of my book, just so you can kind of see what it's about. The book itself will be a children's book. It will be animated. And so this video is a little bit different than that, but it gives you a great idea. If you feel led to donate, to pray, to share, I would appreciate any and all of those things. I am really excited about this book. I thank you for everyone who supported it. And I really hope if you have the calling on your life, on your heart to write a children's book, I would be happy to talk with you. Just send me a message, because my book isn't enough. If all of us come together and flood the market with godly, wholesome books for our children to read, we will have an impact. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video. As she saw all of the other bees buzzing beautifully by, she walked along the ground and wondered why she couldn't fly high. See, when she was a little bee, her wings were torn and shattered, so she grew up believing nothing she did would ever matter. Each day she would stop and drink from the lake, her reflection screaming at her, "You are just a mistake." "Lord," she'd cry out, "I don't understand. Why did you allow my wings to be hurt? What purpose do I have down here in the dirt? The littlest of thorns is like a mountain to me, but to all of the others, even the entire thorn bush, they don't see. God, why didn't you protect me from becoming this way? Can't you see I am struggling day after day? Lord, I know your plans are perfect, and every part of your word is true. So if this is the case, I humbly ask, what did you create me to do? Because all I can see right now is the mud in between my hair, and I am reminded I'm not like the others, and I wonder if you really care. I know I am just a honeybee, unworthy of questioning my Creator, but might you have mercy on me and stop the lie on repeat that tells me you have forsaken her. I see the long road ahead, and it feels like an impossible task. So again, Lord, I come before you. What is my purpose? I desperately ask. Then the voice who created me spoke deeply into my heart. Oh, my precious honeybee, do you not see your significant part? It wasn't my lack of love for you that allowed your many scars. I knew your name and your innermost being before I created the stars. It was down in the mud where you first landed that you began to see you weren't the only one who believed the lie that you were abandoned. Did you forget the little ladybug whose shell was cracked and dented? Did you think I turned my head when you cared for her as it mended? Or what about the fragile beetle who was flipped upside down on her back? I saw the determination in your eyes as you tirelessly worked to get her on track. And what about the butterfly that got stuck in the clay? I was there all the while as you dug her out day after day. And the slug in the sun that begged me to see the grass just once more. I was watching as you encouraged her to keep crawling, although she was sore. Surely you haven't forgotten the grasshopper that lost his way home. I was so proud of you as you calmed him and showed him he wasn't alone. And let's not forget the spider that lost his balance and fell to the ground. It didn't escape me how fast you ran the moment you heard the sound. Beloved honeybee, may your heart be open to see. Whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did unto me. In your sorrow and your pain, you looked unto another. With empathy and understanding, you took on the role of a mother. What the enemy meant for evil, I used for good. You see, your suffering produced in you something flying high never could. You were gifted the chance to walk the path others rush quickly by. And in doing so, you showed my love to some stuck and waiting to die. You see, my sweet bee, this life is not just about you, but it is in turning to me as you've done and asking what I made you to do. Just because you're different doesn't mean I was mistaken. And the trials in your life don't mean that you are forsaken. Lean on me when this life seems more than you can bear. I promise you'll look back at the end and see I was always there.